We had a comment on one of our videos a while back that was essentially asking if we were a starting out band with a really small budget, how would we go about spending that budget? So what we're going to do, we're going to have a £400 budget, and we're going to do this video in a way that would explain how I would spend this £400 on a 2-track release is what we're going to do. How I would spend that £400 on a 2-track release, and then how Lenny would spend that £400 on a 2-track release. Because of the differentiation in between mine and Lenny's different circumstances of starting a band, our methods of spending that money is going to be slightly different, and not all of it will apply to some of you, but some of it will apply to some of you, and then some other bits of it will apply to some other ones of you. Okay, so first of all, I would allocate £250 of my £400 budget into getting a good recording of 2 very good tracks. I would make sure the tracks were as musically perfect as they could be before going into the studio, to make sure that they are definitely good tracks that are gonna be worthy of the £250 that I'm going to spend on them. I would go into a studio for 2 days and I would record these 2 tracks on the £250 budget, which is pretty much how much 2 days in a low-level city studio would cost. I would then spend £150 on the creation of a video. First of all, I would correlate all the ideas that I had for a video in my head, and then I would pass my ideas around to people who I actually valued the opinions of, not just my mum and dad, to see what they thought of my video idea. If my video idea was not that good, then I would go to a video making professional and get them to come up with an idea. And then I would take their ideas and pass it around people again and see what they thought of those ideas. If those ideas were still shit, then I would go to another video producer and see what they thought, until I got a really good video idea that's going to look good. And then I would pay them £150, which is about how much an indie video developer would charge, and I would make a good video. So now we have £100 left after the good quality recording and the good quality video, which I would not spend. I would keep the last £100 for incidentals, because in this business, in every business in the world, shit goes wrong all the time. So you're gonna need a bit of a cushion just in case. If you've got a gig outside of town and you need someone to give you a lift there, if you can't drive yet, then ideally you want to be paying petrol money as a gesture of goodwill. And countless other things that can go wrong. What do you think, Lenny?
I would spend the money completely differently. So, £400 budget. A lot of the stuff that Joe paid for, in the band that I'm currently in, we can all do ourselves, which creates a very different situation. So for recording, we recorded all of our current track list. Well, I mean, technically we currently recorded an EP, but we're not actually going to be releasing that yet. But this is for a 2-track single anyway, so that doesn't really matter. So we'd record it ourselves because we have the means to do so. It makes sense rather than going in a studio, even though maybe we would go in a studio. For this, no, not going in a studio, we'd record it ourselves. Same with the video. I make videos like I have done professionally for about a year, so I would make our own video. I'm currently in the process of doing so. Within the next few months, you will see my band's first music video. So again, that's crossed off the list. Wouldn't actually cost us anything. I'd just make it with my equipment. So what would I actually spend the £400 on? I would start by spending £150, or at least allocating a budget of £150 towards props and extra things that would go in the video and in a photo shoot. Because I'd want to have a photo shoot so then we can launch the singles and stuff with fresh new branding so that we've got photos of us and all that kind of good stuff. That would be about £150. So to put actual real context to it, we have just done a photo shoot where we got some smoke grenades and powder paint. It cost us about £80. And then I'm doing that again for the video, so that would be about £150. I would allocate an extra £30 to having a friend come and do the photo shoot for us. A video, especially the video that we have done, you can get away with not having anyone shoot it because we did it completely on a tripod because we used a green screen. But for the photo shoot, because I'd be using smoke grenades and shit, it's quite hard to know what the right shot's going to be. So just planting a tripod in a place that you think is going to look good isn't as good as having someone with the camera getting the right shot. So I would allocate £30, not necessarily as a payment, but as, like Joe was on about earlier, a gesture of goodwill. So that if you get a friend to do a photo shoot, maybe give him a bit of money because it's it's worth their time if they're actually getting something for it. So that's £150 and then £30, that's £180, so I've still got a load of money left. I would allocate about £70 for getting a proper logo done. I'm not doing that currently with my band because we don't need a logo, we're getting a word logo and that is going to be it. But hypothetically it might be in a band where you need an actual logo, you know, like an actual graphic, a picture of sorts to be drawn, like I don't know, you've got a bear with a hat on, or I don't know, something, a proper logo. I don't have the skills to do that. I don't have the graphics creating skills to make an image from scratch. Everything I do is always photoshopping shit together. A graphic designer can be anything from £15 if it's like a uni student that just wants to do a bit of work on the side to get their portfolio up, or someone who designed the Coca-Cola logo is probably going for a few £1,000s per piece. So I'm going to say about £70, but really you can have any price for an actual graphic designer. And with my last £150, rather than doing what Joe did and save it, because balls to that, let's get all that money out there, I would pay to have a launch gig for the single ran by yourselves, or ran by myself, or whatever. Because rather than doing a gig where, say this would be first release, you wouldn't get a headline gig. You can't guarantee ticket sales, so you wouldn't be able to get a headline gig. So you'd probably be on first or on second. And that means that the gig isn't about you. The gig isn't about your single. The only real way around that, rather than having a promoter that actually has confidence in you already, would be to actually do your own gig. Just set up your own gig, and that would cost about £150 for venue hire, which might cost about £100 for like 100 capacity venue, and then an extra maybe £50 for extra stuff like getting posters either made and or printed. I mean, I'd make posters myself, so that wouldn't be a cost, but posters printed, tickets printed if you wanted tickets, that kind of thing. So that is my entire £400 spent. So it is on extra stuff for photo shoot and video, paying someone to do the photo shoot that's a friend, getting a logo designed, and then getting an actual gig to promote the release, because I think that's an important thing. It's all well and good spending all your money on a release, but you need to actually fund the promotion of it too, and a gig is a really good way of doing that, provided obviously that you've practiced the songs good enough to do it well and to do it justice. This has been a little bit of a weird video. I'm glad, I hope you liked it. If you did like it, it kind of fits in well with the mini-series that we're currently running on Wednesdays. If you didn't watch Wednesday's video, I will link it there. It's about getting a logo together, whether it be by someone who actually professionally does it or by doing it yourself. We show both methods, and you can watch that up there. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you have a good day.
What do you think, Lenny?